So I'm just going to get started then with the overview. So it's really, we get these HTML descriptions in our description section. And if you don't know how to HTML, it's just one big block of text, which you can keyword optimize, and it does help with ranking. However, it looks ugly, and people quite often, particularly Americans, will go looking for enhanced content just to get more of an idea, a better understanding of the product. And yeah, it can overcome customer objections by pointing out things that they are like, I don't know, I can't fully see it. You can get things like 3D views and a whole range of different things. So it used to be called enhanced brand content. It's recently changed to just A+ content. Recently, a couple of years now. It used to only be in the vendor program, which was Amazon's wholesale program, but now it's available for anyone, any sellers, providing you've got a trademark. So the main reasons are increased brand awareness. So you can talk about your brand in there, not just talk about it, but display it. And I've got some examples further on where using textures can really help get across, say, the quality of the product or the natural elements of the product. You can do really great comparison charts. If you've got, say, one product and you've got slight differences in them all, you can show visually the differences between them, and that helps customers make decisions. And obviously just point out in more detail, address the customer's pain points and then solve them at the same time. It really does, it can help to improve customer feedback, ratings as well, because there's so much detail there and there's a lot more images than your standard images. It does give the customer probably a more realistic overview of your product, so there's less disappointment. They can show, more close-ups and all sorts of different things. So that is, another good bonus that most people don't think about. It does boost conversions. I have heard only through hearsay of 40% increase of someone that did it, and that's all that they did. Now, they were in an exceptionally competitive niche where everyone else had it, and they had sizing as well, which I think the sizing charts in particular would really help. I think if you're buying clothing or shoes or selling those, which hopefully none of you are. If you are, it's all right, but they're the sort of things that will really, that's you're more in the 40% end than the 5% end, but it definitely makes a difference. With SEO, there's no proof that the content in A+ content actually does anything for search engine ranking position in the Amazon SERPs. However, it definitely does make a difference. You do appear in Google search and Google images, and so that can only help increase visibility. And that goes for the images themselves. And towards the end, I'm just talking about how to optimize the images for A+ content to get the best bang for buck for Google SEO. So there's a range of features in A+ content. If you're not familiar, there's a heap of different, there's one example here, but there's a heap of different layouts and different things you can add in. You can add videos in, obviously bullet points, it's pretty boring, but bullet points where you can really customize things like the size of the font and, draw attention to certain things that you wouldn't be able to do in your standard bullet points. 360 product views, matrix comparison charts, what's in the box section. There are a few of the components. So to get, as we talked about, to get A+ content on your listing, you do need to be brand registered, and brand registry brings a whole suite of benefits, and the A+ content on your listing is just one of them. There's, I could do a whole nother session on the branded store, which is kind of similar to A+ content, but it's your own, it's like your storefront, but it actually looks nice, not just a list of your products. And, when you start to build out your product range, building a store, particularly if all your products are, complementary, if they're, you're selling a chainsaw and, a baby blanket, you probably wouldn't, you could put them on you have different tabs on your store. So you might have, baby range and homewares or gardening, but so you can tie them all together, and it allows you to do a lot of external marketing to your store, and that will result in no penalties for a big bounce rate. So with standard advertising, if someone comes from Facebook to your listing, directly to your listing, and they don't buy, then that really affects your what's called unit session percentage or your conversion rate. And the worse your conversion rate is, the more Amazon will push you down the search engine results page. So I think 10% and above for unit session percentage is good, which means 100 people come to your listing, 10 of those will buy. So you do not want to stuff around with that. And that's why your store, having your own branded store really helps with that. Brand analytics is another really detailed topic that I think Neil might have covered it previously. It really gives you so much data on what the customers are doing, search terms they're entering, a whole lot of information that you don't get as a standard seller. I missed back here, sponsored brand ads. So at the top of your search engine page, you've got your, there's usually quite often for most search terms, particularly in the US, there's, your strip, there's an ad at the top. I'll show you actually. You're probably all familiar with it, but if in case you're not, this is an example of the A+ content there where it sits down the bottom there. If we go back to home, oops, I've done the wrong thing there. So I'm a bit zoomed out here, aren't I? Old yoga mat. So there's an example of a brand ad at the top there. So, and yoga mat's a really competitive one. So their layout is slightly different to all of the other SERPs layouts because there's so many variables and they're just trying to sort content. But you can have up to 3 images in a brand ad. And that might be, you're selling a yoga mat and you're selling a yoga brick and you're selling a yoga towel. And so you could showcase all those products in the one ad. Versus, the standard sponsored ads, which look like this. All right, back we go. So we're only going to cover A+ content on your listing today. And some of the stuff I talk about will be relevant for your store as well. The look and feel, I guess. So to enroll in brand registry, which we need to get A+ content, you need a brand name that has an active registered trademark.